everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of the ForneverWorld podcast. We might rebrand it as ForneverCast, I'm not sure, but anyways, I am your host, ForneverWorld, as always, alongside my co-host, very good friend, Daniel Santos, aka Shintai. Shintai, Daniel, Danny boy, I can't call you Daniel.
I've so many fucking names.
Shintai, tell the people what's up.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh man, I was expecting Gremlin Discord trying to drag you down with the fucking.
No, Discord's trying to play with me, so I'm like, all right, I see your game. I see what's up.
What's up?
Last time Discord was just like, what? Nani kudasai?
Nandesu ka? Oh shit, people. So today we're going to touch up on a topic that we had touched up on in the original episode 12 that never made it to see the light of day due to technical difficulties, and that is how important is the ending of an anime, the ending of a manga. You could even apply it to a movie or whatever, but in particular I'm going to focus on the ending of an anime and a manga. What does that do for the overall standing of a show, of a series? Does it, how much can it drag it down, or how much should it drag it down score wise and overall from, your word of mouth? What are you going to say about this series with the ending being a major factor, or how much of a major factor it could be? Now, to be honest with you, there's a very simple saying. There's the very, very simplistic saying of the journey is more important than the destination. And I do think that a lot of people, when it comes to, in retrospect, talking about a medium that they love and adore or whatever, sometimes they lose track of that, because I've seen it countless times. In fact, I would argue with anime and manga, it's more of a normal that people get disappointed with an ending. I rarely, seldomly hear people saying, that was the greatest ending I've ever seen, or that was top tier ending, oh my god. Normally, I usually hear either it was a terrible ending, it was a disappointing ending, it left a lot to be desired. Those are the things that usually come from what I hear people say when they describe an ending. Countless times. Not every time, there's obviously the exceptions or whatever, but for the most part I hear that. And it's interesting too, because let's just say, right, I just finished this series, whatever series, throw a title in there, whatever. A lot of times people normally lead off with this. If it had a disappointing ending, they'll say, oh, it was really good, but the ending sucked. Like, if they hated the ending, they didn't like the ending, that's the way they're going to say it, as if they're two separate things, like the journey and the ending. And that's interesting in and of itself, how much people put importance on the ending. What do you think about that separation in and of itself to begin with, Shintai?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. A lot of people really feel that the ending is that important, that they need to make that distinction, that, like, if the ending isn't satisfying, for a lot of people, they feel like if the ending isn't worth it, then, like, the whole show might as well not exist. And that, I personally, it's a case-by-case basis, but generally speaking, I haven't, like, fully bought into that. But I don't, like, that's the thing, though. The ending is part of the show. It's not, like, a separate thing, right? Like, it's part of the same story. It's part of the same package.
Yep.
And to me, it would be like let's say you're back in school and you're doing class, right? And you have been, like, acing this class, every semester. You get straight A's. But for whatever fucking reason, you bombed the final exam.
Yeah.
Do you deserve to, like, not pass because you got an F on the final exam, even though you got straight fucking A's the entire year? Does an entire year's worth of work go down the drain because of one test?
Yo, that is a great example, and I'm gonna tell you why. In college, and I took Japanese, right? And I was slaying that class. I'm talking about my grade was an A straight fucking through. Like every test, every quiz, whether I had to go out of town for something, even when I got back, I was murdering it. I was doing phenomenal in this class, right? The finals come. I can't even explain what the fuck happened, but I bombed my final, right? Mind you, I still passed, right? But my score at the end of the class, despite averaging an A all the way through, my final score for my final grade was a B. And that right there is kind of significant to this topic, because it's like, or to this discussion, because right there, the ending, the finale just dropped down everything dramatically. And I think that's the way people are looking at a show or a series or something that they're enjoying, a video game, whatever it is. They're looking at it like that, it was an A all the way through, but the finals bombed, so now it's a B. And don't get me wrong, that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, I would say there's only, like, in special cases where, like, the ending is so catastrophically fucking bad that, like, it contradicts the rest of the show, or, like, it invalidates the rest of the show. Like, but again, that's, like, special cases. Otherwise, if you just have, like, kind of like a dumb, shitty ending that just sucks, if it was an A earlier, then I think it's fair to drop it down to a B. Not say, oh, well, since this ending sucked, then it's an F now. Like, I don't jive with that.
Yeah, like, because we had this discussion before, and I made some ridiculous things, but to learn from our previous discussion, because, like, I made some out of this fucking world scenarios to just to try and push Shintai buttons.
You did. You were trying really hard to get me to, like, drop the scores down on my favorite shows. I was like, what the fuck, man?
But in
he was telling me, like, what if this one character took a massive shit, like, literally just, like, shat all over herself. And I was like, what?
But the important thing that I took from that was the fact that those are extremes that almost are non-existent, especially in, like, mainstream titles. And what I mean by mainstream is just, like, things that are published in a company. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's rarity that you get a series where, like, fucking, I don't know, Naruto ends with a giant waking up in bed with a boner or some shit. Like
3-5-4 fun.
Hokage sucked his thumb. Like, that's a very rare instance of some shit. Like, has it happened? I'm sure there's probably been plenty of shit where, like, a boy wakes up in bed from a dream and that was the end of it. Like, I'm sure that's happened before, but that's not.
And he was thinking about Hinata.
I don't blame him. But that's not par for the course. Like, endings usually, like, the dissatisfying factor is normally, like, people didn't like the way a plot thread went. People don't maybe like pairings, which I always find that ridiculous. Like, you're gonna say the series is shit because this character didn't end up
because Rukia and fucking Ichigo didn't get together. Therefore, Bleach went from a 10 out of 10 to a 1 out of 10. Fuck Bleach.
And mind you, Shintai is not spoiling. He has not witnessed the ending of Bleach. For people that are gonna say, yeah. We gotta throw that in there.
No, people. I haven't seen the ending. I'm just throwing bullshit out there.
Yeah, because people be like, man, I've been waiting for the anime all this time. What the fuck, Shintai?
Dude, I was just throwing out some bullshit. I don't know anything. Don't attack me.
But, like, the ending, it is as important as the journey. It's just like, for example, let's break it down a little bit. Like, okay, let's just say there's 5 arcs to a show, right? Let's just say the first arc is 10 out of 10. second arc is a 10 out of 10. The last 2 arcs are 10 out of 10. But there's an arc wedged in the middle that is terrible, like just garbage. It's like about the most abysmal side character, like playing with a pile of shit for like 5 episodes or 10 episodes, whatever. And like that's the extent of the arc. Like he just keeps on molding, like making snowmen out of piles of shit. Like the funny thing is that if you think about it, if that happens, people aren't really going to put emphasis on that. People at most are going to say like, towards the middle it got a little wonky, but it's still a great series. They're not going to say like, but there's this arc in the middle that was trash. I guess
like literally trash. Like he was just making snowman out of fecal matter. Human trash.
But like, cause 2 is like you're only as good as like that mindset of you're only as good as the last thing you've done. Like, what have you done for me lately? And because the ending is the last interaction that they have with said content, I think that's another reason why people put such a priority on that. Because it's like, well, my last thing.
And it's funny. Real quick, it's funny that you say like it's in the middle, because I think for most people, the start of something and the end of something is that is what they remember the most.
Yeah.
And if there's some like whack shit in the middle, they'll gloss over it in favor of like, yo, but the amazing way it started though, and the amazing way it ended though. Yeah.
And it's I don't know, it's just bizarre. Like, comparing it, like, okay, I think majority of people, and I'm curious to see how this all plays out whenever it does end, and I'm talking about One Piece, because whatever the One Piece is, spoiler alert,
it's friendship.
There's going to be millions of people that are going to hate it and be disappointed. Whatever it is, whether it's a fucking bag of shit, and I keep going back to shit, just like I did in the last episode, but whatever it is.
It's true love. The One Piece is true love and friendship.
A lot of people are scared of it being that, and I think Oda actually came out and said it will not be like the journey is and the friends you gathered along the way. I think Oda had to come out and say, no, it's not going to be that. So whatever the One Piece is, there's still going to be people that fucking hate it, and there's still going to be people that walk away from One Piece despite probably it being 1,500 fucking episodes, 2,000 episodes by then. People are still going to say One Piece is shit because of the way it ends. And that is fucking crazy. That is bananas. Because, like, you telling me you sat there for... How much is, like, 1,000 episodes in real time? Like, 22 minutes per episode. That is, what, months, right?
Yeah, months. Shit.
So you would dedicate months of your life and love almost every step of the way. But at that last moment, because something was not to your satisfaction... You're going to say that.
It turns out that the One Piece is just a piece of Oda's nutsack.
No, it's Bob Saget's book.
No, Dirty Daddy.
Dirty Daddy, like a signed copy of Dirty Daddy is the One Piece. Like, it's amazing that there's actually going to be probably millions of people that are going to feel that way, that are going to feel like months of my time... Fuck all of that shit. It's trash because of whatever the fuck is that prize at the end. And I don't know. I can't wrap my head around that. I mean, I guess maybe different strokes.
Well, I mean, there are people that have been loving One Piece for years. I mean, are you going to, like, for me, looking, as an outsider looking in, it's like, are you really going to allow, like, years and years of love and enjoyment and entertainment? Are you really going to like pretend none of that happened and it's all invalidated just because you didn't like how they ended it? Like, I don't jive with that. Like, how does like such a small piece of the experience just suddenly eradicate like years of what was like one of your favorite pieces of media?
Like,
I don't know. That's why I just don't jive with this idea that like the ending is that important, that like it makes or breaks something. Like, yeah, I'm not saying the ending isn't important. Like, a good ending can elevate something, and a bad ending can drag it down, of course. But it's not the end all be all. You know, there's so many things that goes into making something amazing or terrible, and to pin it down on just one thing just seems shallow to me. And again, unless we're talking about a really specific, weird, shit-related fucking ending.
like Chopper just eats every fucking character in One Piece, the little fucking reindeer. He just like, I can't take it no more. Nami won't fuck me. Luffy, get over here. Just starts chopping on him.
And he immediately shits him out.
Yeah, and like that's how One Piece ends. You know what's something funny? I don't think I've even ever heard this once of somebody saying, yo, that series was shit, but the ending was godlike. It was the greatest ending. I don't know. Have you ever heard anything like that?
No, because most people, if like a show is shit, then they just give up on it. They drop it. They don't bother to finish it.
What about like a 12 episode jammy? Like, let's just say it was 11 episodes of hell, but that final episode took all of that hell and made good use of it. You don't hear that.
Never. I've never fucking heard of anything that was like complete dog shit, but then the ending all of a sudden was like godlike. I've never heard that.
Like, yo, that plot
actually, everyone listening, in the comments below, if you have seen this anime that has done this, that was like just straight trash, but then all of a sudden it turned around the end, please tell us, because not saying we're gonna watch it, but it'd be fun to hear about at least.
Handshakers.
No. I refuse to believe that Handshakers isn't anything but fucking trash from start to finish.
Yo, what about if it has like a better fucking ending than like every part of the Fate franchise? Like it destroys.
Shut the fuck up, you piece of shit.
Like it destroys Fate Zero's ending. It's just like.
Shut up. Get the fuck out of here.
Would you admit it though? Like if Handshakers had a better ending than everything in Fate?
There's no way that's gonna be possible. Dude, that is impossible. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know, man. You never know. Maybe like the ending is like this plot revelation that all along this guy that said Handshakers, like you only see him in that first episode, right? But then like in episode 12,
I don't know, I never watched more than that.
But in episode 12 he walks up to the screen and he goes Handshakers, and you realize the whole plot of this story was actually from the molecules of his hand, and the characters were actually just little fibers on his hand, and there's been like little breadcrumbs throughout each episode. Like in episode 3 and episode 7 it was like metaphorical, and in essence it was actually telling the story of this man's hand and how much he cranks.
What the fuck?
It's all about this old man masturbating, but you really gotta pay attention to get the plot twist. You wouldn't praise that shit, bro? Come on.
Next bit. Next bit. This bit's bad. Next bit.
Oh man, how you gonna front on the Handshakers, bro? Like what about Inuyasha?
Okay.
I just wanted to say what about Inuyasha? There's no point there.
I thought you were gonna be like, what if the ending was like fucking the whole time it was Naraku's pubes? Like,
no. The ending of Inuyasha is shit. I don't give a fuck what anybody like. Hey, if you disagree, tell me why. What is so great about Inuyasha's ending? But I found it the plot twist without getting into spoiler territory, because you know the Yashahime series is coming up or whatever. But the plot twist in particular regarding the Shikon Jewel, again, without getting into it, is fucking terrible, stupid, dumb as shit. Like, I hated it. Yeah, Inuyasha's ending is just like... That's what I fucking think of it, to be honest with you. Like, I like Inuyasha. It has some great moments to it, but the ending is shit. It overstood its welcome.
Would the ending have been better if you had found out that Naraku gets his power from like the hairs on his scrotum?
Yeah, because at least it would have been like look at The Room with Tommy Wiseau. It was like one of the alluring things about it is because it's said to be like one of the worst best movies ever, and that would be one of the worst best endings ever. Like, Naraku's fucking scrotum has been the mastermind of this whole entire fucking plot. I would love that shit. Like, it would create a cult following for Inuyasha that it never had.
You might be right.
And you know, it's not far off from what it is, because originally it was like this guy Onigumo, and how he like sold his soul to the devil because he really wanted to fuck Kikyo, and like he didn't get his... Yeah.
Yo, why is everyone all up in Kikyo's junk? You know, like the whole show is about how everyone wants to bone Kikyo.
And if you really think about it, Inuyasha's a fucking piece of shit, because if you look at closely, how many times like Kagome, like he treated Kagome like she was scraps. Because any time, like, he could be in a forest where there's people ready to stab, eat, and kill these motherfuckers. But if Kikyo was crying and he heard whispers of her fucking tears, he'd be like, later, bitch, and run off to Kikyo and leave Kagome there for dead. Like, Kagome seen this dude making out with her. She was just, like, always left in the dust while he would run off to her. Like, if anything, Kagome was, like, the biggest fucking simp for Inuyasha.
That's true.
And nobody talks about that.
To be fair though, Kikyo is way hotter. So
she's just her fucking ancestor. She's literally just like, hey, this was who I used to be. Like,
I'm just saying the way they drew Kikyo is hotter.
There is a difference, because like there's times where Kagome put on Kikyo's outfit and you could tell that she still doesn't have that same allure, like that facial expression, that almost resting bitch face that makes Kikyo hot.
Yo, that's it. It's the resting bitch face. I love it. It's my favorite.
Oh shit. So yeah, because we're trailing off of the ending shit, but basically I don't think, and I don't get why. Like, I understand a bad ending, and I understand that really pissing you off and shit like that, but I still don't think, like, you know, like, if we're putting it in a score, right, like what Shintai brought up earlier, the example of a test and shit like that, if you ace it all the way through and you bomb on the finals, there's no way possible that you could go from an A to an F. Like, at best, at worst case scenario, the ending is just so fucking ridiculous and makes no sense. Like, you know, Fate Zero ends off with Saber falling in love with Berserker and some really weird, awkward shit, and like she gets pregnant from Berserker, like some really random shit that doesn't make sense. Maybe give it a C.
And what?
Like, give it a C at that particular point, at worst. But, like, there's no way you could say that it's a straight trash series. Because, like, again, the journey is more important than the destination. And, yeah, the destination does have significance, but it's not the end-all, be-all. The destination does have significance, and there's an allure to it. But, you know, having that mindset of, what have you done for me lately? You're only as good as the last thing you've done for me. That's a terrible mindset, and that's why a bad ending, yeah, it can be impactful, but it's not the end-all, be-all.
Yeah, if you wouldn't be someone's friend because they weren't worth something to you, you might want to reevaluate yourself.
Ooh, Shintai with the fucking words of fucking wisdom. Big fucking facts. I know where you got that from, that fucking song, lad.
Yes. Yes. Shoutouts to Jeff Rosenstock.
Yeah. It took me a second. I'm like, wait a minute. He says something similar before. Hold on. Ah! Oh shit, man.
Yep. That was off of Festival Song.
Yes, 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 yes. That's
Good
actually because like most people know that, like, you know, I'm a big hip hop head. I love music in general. I could listen to almost anything that's good. This was a little bit of a different experience, and I know we're just jumping into some other shit. As a matter of fact, we'll put right here our watched and experienced for the week. This isn't going to be, especially with this one in particular, it's not going to be like I'm going to strictly talk about anime and stuff that I watched for the week, although I did watch some shit, and I think likewise with Shintai, but like he put me on to an album. Again, what's the name of it and what's the artist?
So the name of the artist is Jeff Rosenstock, and the name of the album is Worry. Worry.
And what's the official genre of this music?
I think it's just like alternative punk rock.
Okay. And I'm a hip hop head. I love hip hop music. I'm more so into like the older stuff, I guess you would say. Like I love my Pac. I like a lot of newer shit. I'm more so interested in like conscious hip hop and whatnot, but I love hip hop in general. So when I do give other music a chance, because again I love music in general, it's interesting. And this was a fun little, I guess I don't want to say detour. I can't think of basically just I gave it a try, Shintai's recommendation, because Shintai always gives me like cool recommendations for different types of music, and it was an interesting experience. I'm not gonna lie, like for a hip hop head, again, probably not for everybody, I'll be honest with you. Like if you listen to rap, hip hop, you may not be able to get into it, but I'm very open-minded and I like different music. I like different sounds. I love music with substance, and the lyrics definitely have a message. And in general, I don't know, I had a good time with this, Shintai, with the recommendations, lad. So that was one thing that I experienced this week, was that album. Aside from that, I played more One Piece Pirate Warriors. That was a blast. And, you know, I watched my weekly anime, but I gotta go back to something that I mentioned last week and probably the week before. ReZero. Fucking Zero. Every episode, I am just dying for the next one. Bro, if you're gonna give one anime this year a try of my recommendations, give ReZero a try. Like, they're on season 2 right now, but there's a reason why I'm even watching season 2, and that's because season 1 was phenomenal. It's a life in another world, isekai type of series, but boy, is it just... It's great. It's fucking greatness. Seeing this character, because it's also one of those, I forget what the name of the genre is called, but basically where you die and you restart, and like every time you die you restart from almost like a save point, but it's not a save point because this isn't
like a roguelike.
Okay, that where like this dude, until he gets past a certain point, he'll keep reliving these horrible things. Like I'm talking about, like, imagine just a horde of like playful little rabbits just eating you alive. Like,
fun.
This dude goes through it, and it's awesome because he's an average Joe. Like, he's an average Joe that gets thrown into this. He's not like Kirito from Sword Art Online, where Kirito is like, hey, I'm the greatest gamer of all time. This dude is just like, he's an average motherfucker. Like, he's just regular. But his tenacity and his will to keep on going, you know, and fight through the hurdles and shit like that is what makes him a cool dude and makes him like relatable, I guess you could say. But boy, the shit he goes through and the strategy, and you know, I put myself in those predicaments. Like, imagine I was in that situation where I gotta keep on, and every time he restarts and he tries to do things a different way, the circumstances also change. So like, let's just say if he died at the hands of a giant fucking gorilla or whatever, and the gorilla is going to be in the red forest, and I'm just throwing out random examples. If he goes to the green forest this time around instead of going straight to the red forest, maybe the gorilla might eventually be walking into the green forest, or there might be a giant giraffe that calls the gorilla to the green forest. Like, there's just so many variables that change when he makes a change, which again makes it like, oh, so it's still not easy. It's like, it's fucking brilliant. The art and animation is great. I'm not sure of the studio, but I'm telling you, dude, give ReZero a try. It's not Sword Art Online by any means, even though it's an isekai. 10 times, 100 times better than that. And I enjoy Sword Art Online for what it is, but ReZero, like I've been saying, I think this could be anime of the year, and it's on that I'm watching it because not only I enjoy it and love it, it's quality.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about it, so I'll probably check it out after season 2 is finished running.
Yeah, it is. It is a fucking ride, bro.
Cool.
What have you experienced lately? Have you watched a movie? Have you had a phone conversation with Tommy Wiseau?
I fucking wish. I would have recorded that shit. But no, I've been playing The Last of Us 2. I think I want to say I'm like halfway through the game because it's a good deal longer than the first one. I feel like half of the second game is when the first game would have ended. So it's pretty beefy. But what's really interesting, so I'm not going to say who you play as, but like at the point of the game that I'm at, you change characters. You no longer play as the character you had been throughout the first half of the game.
And is that a reoccurring thing, or you only change characters once?
So in the very, 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 very beginning of the game, you switch characters, and then after that you stay with Ellie. You stay playing as Ellie for the entirety of like the first half of the game, and now in the second half you play as you change to a different character, and I can tell that the whole second half of the game is going to be playing as this new character. So you mostly just stick with one character.
So when do you get to play as the bigot sandwich?
You don't.
I seen someone in the comments, yo, that was like, "You're Shintai, you're trying to rationalize that terrible fucking writing. There's no excuse. That was just shit. If somebody else wrote it, it'd be great." I was like, oh boy.
What do you mean I'm trying to... What? I explained it perfectly. I wasn't... What? What?
Dude was upset. I was like, oh boy, Shintai with The Last of Us drama.
Like, I'm sorry that, you know, Ellie likes to tell shitty, dumb jokes, something that was very well established in the first fucking game, and they kind of call back to that in the second game, like, you know, whatever.
It's like if
whatever.
It's like if somebody gets mad at Naruto for saying he wants to be the Hokage in Shippuden, when it's been established since episode 1 that he wants to be the Hokage.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying it's like an amazing line or anything. It's a throwaway line. It's not, you know, it's not a big deal. Like it's a whatever line. I think people are just making a really big deal out of it because they've got to have something to be mad about. And out of all the things to be mad about, like, that's such a fucking pathetic thing to get, like, upset over. Like, come on.
I think where the frustration comes from is people being fed up, I guess, with a social justice warrior type of shit being implemented into like media and shit like that, which I get that or whatever, but that, from everything you've told me, does not sound like them, you know, shoehorning in. Like, it'd be different if Ellie never fucking in her life liked I don't know, fucking shooting off guns, and all of a sudden she's like, yo, give me this bitch, I want to shoot for no fucking reason whatsoever, never shown or whatever. Like, that's
no definitely not. Ellie shoots people in the first game, so
yeah, like she it's just a stupid throwaway line that's been part of her character. Maybe it's lame. Yeah, okay, that does sound fucking lame. Like,
Sure.
A bigot.
I'm not saying it's a good insult, but like,
No, Shintai, you're saying that she reinvented the wheel. Oh man, the shit people get upset about, man.
Honestly, halfway through the game, I really don't see why people are mad. I think people are just, I'll put it like this: I do kind of get why people are angry, but I don't think that's the same as saying that it's poorly written. People are mad because of the emotional attachment that they have to a certain character and what ended up happening to that character. But to say that that's bad writing is not the same thing. Just because you're unhappy with how that turned out.
So
I don't want to get too specific.
Yeah. Okay. So I haven't played it. I never played Last of Us 1. Never played Last of Us 2. I don't know nothing about it. I'm gonna go off the assumption that a character died.
I'm not saying that.
No. I'm just for my point right here. Do you think I'm going to fucking just destroy a series and say fuck this series? Like, one of my favorite manga right now, two of the characters that I fucking loved and adored were just killed. Like, in the most sudden, random way that I never thought was going to happen. You think I'm going to fucking, even if I get emotional about it, you think I'm going to, like, oh no, this is just straight shit. Like, yeah, maybe the way it's done, and again, I don't know, I'm all under assumption that a character died or whatever, and if it's done in a very poor way with no closure to the character and whatnot, maybe you could throw an argument there, but yeah, if it's telling a story and that's a part of the story and it's done properly, I don't see the problem. So, yeah, again, that's all under my
I agree that it's all about execution.
Yeah. Yep.
But not like, yeah, well, whatever. I'm enjoying the game. I think it's fun. The gameplay is really good. And
just the bigot sandwiches. Yeah. Fucking bigot sandwiches.
But the I think the biggest thing about that bigot sandwich line thing was that, like, when I explained it to you, you were like, oh, that makes sense,
right?
And it's not like I left anything out. Like, you can go check for yourself. I didn't leave anything out.
No, Shintai, believe me, I believe you. I don't think you're gonna fucking lie. Like, now if you were getting paid or some shit, I'd be like, yo, Shintai, what the fuck you doing, fam? Like, yo, you playing with me, bro? Sit, boy.
God damn it. You gotta bring fucking Inuyasha into everything.
What's the name of the company that makes The Last of Us?
Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog. Like, if you was getting paid on the table, Naughty Dog was throwing you some bread, now I could see you making an excuse or two. Like, hey, I got a safe face.
Man, Naughty Dog must be really hard up if they're coming to me. Like,
no,
like, what the fuck?
No, here's some game, right? Here's some game. For people listening, too, here's some game. Because a lot of people think that to get, and this is kind of slightly off topic or whatever, but I like, if I have a little information and people are watching this point and I want to provide it. People think that in order to get sponsorships, in order to get the bag, you got to be like 1 million subscribers. You got to be 100,000 subscribers. No, that's not the case at all. In fact, especially companies like Nintendo, which obviously Naughty Dog, they're not affiliated with Nintendo, but I'm just throwing an example out there. A lot of these companies, they like smaller creators because, you know what, when you give your opinion and if something controversial happens with you, whatever it be, whether it's outside of the confines of what you're doing, whatever, they don't get the public backlash. So they're gonna rock with somebody that has 5,000 subs or 10,000 subs and send them maybe a review copy, throw them some money to give a review out, whatever it is, before they're probably going to go, and don't get me wrong, there's exceptions to the rule like anything else. But before they're going to go to the person with 1 million subs that, let's just say, they do a Last of Us 2 review and tomorrow they get caught in some scandal or some shit, and then now it's like, yo, isn't he affiliated and sponsored by Naughty Dog? So they rather rock with a smaller creator that has maybe 5,000, 10,000 subscribers, so they don't got to worry about that extra shit. So for people thinking that you got to be just ginormous to get sponsors, you don't. Companies really favor smaller creators. There's a gem for people.
Interesting. I've still never spoken to Naughty Dog.
I wasn't trying to insinuate.
Like, I'm gonna be real with all you guys. I don't really like the Uncharted series that much, so don't even come at me with like any like, oh, you're just a Naughty Dog fanboy or some shit. Man, Uncharted is mid. It's fucking mid, so don't even come at me with that shit.
Oh shit, yo. Nah, but I'll tell you one thing. I will not allow Naughty Dog slander when it comes to Crash Bandicoot.
No, Crash is the good shit. You're right.
Yeah, if you're talking shit about Crash, then we got issues, fam. Now, is Naughty Dog? They're not responsible for the.
What you should have said is talking shit about Crash. I'm gonna beat your ass.
Oh God. Are they responsible for the latest Crash that either came out or is coming out?
No.
So what? They sold the IP?
A long time ago.
Really?
Yes.
Oh shit.
After like the PS1, after the initial like PS1 Crash games, those were the only ones that they made. And then after that,
which was what, up to Crash 3?
Completely stopped. Yep. They made all the PS1 Crash games, and then after that, they had nothing to do with the series.
And that's why the series dropped off the face of the fucking earth. Like, what came from Crash after those PS1 games? Like, I think there was like one or two for the PS2, but no one gave a fuck.
Yeah, there was Twinsanity, there was Clash of the Titans, there was a few of them. There was like some for like the Game Boy Advance or some shit like that. There was a few of them, and fans feel, some different ways about them.
Nothing will ever change one of my first PS1 games, which was Crash Bandicoot 2. Crash Bandicoot 2 and X-Men Children of the Atom. Those were my first PS1 games, and they'll forever be in my heart.
Good shit.
Okay, let's quickly jump into a friendly game of Who Wants to Be an Anime Fan, and then we'll jump into our next topic. Are you ready, Shintai?
More ready than I've ever been.
Then let's play Who Wants to Be an Anime Fan?
Dun dun dun.
So, in Dragon Ball Z, Lord Slug, the main antagonist of this film, is a super Namekian that has astronomical powers. However, there's a weakness he has that even Piccolo shares with him. What does Piccolo do to avoid being affected by said weakness when Gohan begins to whistle? Does he A, does a special beam cannon through his own head? B, he sings a song in Namekian? C, he rips off his own ears? Or D, he imagines Yajirobe taking a shit? Oh, hey there, Piccolo. Do you need me to repeat it, mate?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In Dragon Ball Z Lord Slug, the main antagonist of this film is a super Namekian that has astronomical powers. However, there's a weakness that he has that even Piccolo shares. What does Piccolo do to avoid being affected by said weakness when Gohan begins to whistle? Does he A, does a special beam cannon through his own head? B, he sings a song in Namekian? C, he rips off his own ears? Or D, he imagines Yajirobe taking a massive shit?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know the answer to this one, and I'm pretty fucking sure it's not Yajirobe taking a shit. Beam cannon out of the head sounds a little too out there. So it's gotta be either B or C. I'm gonna go with C.
Final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
You're right! He rips his fucking ears off, mate!
That's what I said. Rip his ears off.
I say you're right.
Oh, I thought you said I was wrong.
No, I say you're right!
I'm right, yeah.
Oh, shit. D was the best answer, though. Clearly.
Yeah. Because I figured, like, well, Namekians can regrow their limbs, so it wouldn't be a big deal for Piccolo to rip his ears off and then grow them back later.
But what about that special beam cannon through the fucking head?
How would he do a special beam cannon out of his head?
No, like he would make the blast on his finger and then projectile it back through his head.
Okay.
Oh, well, fuck it. It was a terrible fucking answer. Well then, let's jump into our next topic, and that is video games that should be turned into anime, that we think at the very least that they fit, we would like to see them, all of that jazz. Shintai, why don't you start it up?
Sure. So I was just thinking, like, man, there's so many awesome games out there with like really cool stories. Or hell, even if the story isn't anything special, like there's just something cool about them, and they would make for good anime. And I was thinking, it would be fucking awesome if there was a Yakuza anime, because the Yakuza series has great storylines, and of course there's a lot of action in them. So I would love to see like one based on like Yakuza 0 or something, and we could see the amazing storyline of Yakuza in beautiful animation, and being able to see some of the crazy fights that you get to play, being able to see them like animated would be awesome. It kind of reminds me of it would be like when I saw the Street Fighter 2 animated movie, like, because it's one thing to play the game, right? Like playing a game and then watching a fight scene, it's like it's not the same experience. And like being able to see an animated film with like high production values of like awesome fight scenes, it's like there's something really awesome about that. So I think like Yakuza 0, just because like if it had like high quality animation, it could have some like amazing fight scenes, but also again the story is just so fucking good that like
now would you want them to just basically adapt the story into an anime, or create something from the ground up?
Well, if they're gonna adapt 0, they would just need to like do the story of the game. I obviously they would have to make some changes, but like I wouldn't want them to try and do something new. Like, because at that point, like, if you're gonna make a new storyline, then there's no reason to tie it to 0 specifically. Like, just make it its own thing. But like, I don't know, that then it would just be like some random spin-off thing, I guess. And I don't know. I don't think I'd be as into it. I would want them to adapt 0, because 0's the best one.
Okay, interesting. That's a beloved franchise in and of itself. A lot of people love
for good reason. Fucking great series, great games.
Yeah. For me, well, one of them would definitely be Shintai kind of gave me this idea. Drakengard 3. From what I
Yep.
remember with that game, what was it? The dragon. She had like a dragon, and the main character herself. I love
Yeah.
badass females. I love badass females, and I remember her calling, like, she was the exact opposite of the bigot sandwich with saying this fucking pussy Snow. Oh man, that what was her name? Do you remember her name? The main character of Dragon Guard 3?
Zero.
Zero. Oh my god, like, I love badass females. Like, that's why I like Claymore a lot. And she was just amazing. The story itself, from what I remember, it was pretty dope. I think there's something there that they could do with it. But kind of in the reverse of this topic, in a way, something that I thought would be interesting is, because even though it's absolutely hated, and it's funny because I was recently on Twitter going back and forth with people, because I kind of gave a little bit of a claim to Jump Force, right? I was just basically saying, in a nutshell, because people will take this in so many different ways. 100% Jump Force is not the first anime crossover game to be made. There's plenty other ones. J-Star's Victory Versus Alone, ones for the DS. People have been pointing me of all sorts of games because people took out of context what I was saying on Twitter regarding that as a historic event. And what I meant by that, of Jump Force being a historic event, was the fact that it was bringing anime crossover games, fighting games in particular, to the mainstream Western audiences. It put it to the forefront. It catered to the mainstream Western audience. That's why, like, one of the big key points in the marketing was having Light from Death Note, because, like, that's a big Western anime. So clearly it was catering towards the West. No doubt about it. And that's what I was saying as far as it being historic. It's more than likely going to spawn other ones, because I think it did like 1 million copies. So it's gonna, they're gonna more than likely do another one, which, hey, that gives opportunity to improve on the things that people hated. But the idea that I had in reverse is, I think one of the, like, when you're doing things, right, when you're creating, you gotta always look at your strong points. What is anime's strong point? Animation, like, that's their strong point. We know that historically 9 times out of 10 live action adaptations don't fucking work. Like, they just always suck usually. Dragon Ball Evolution. Hey, have you ever heard of Dragon Ball Evolution? Okay. So, you know, it's
or that Full Metal one.
Yeah, the Full Metal one. I never actually and I wanted to, man. It just sucks that it was apparently shit. But
The Death Note one.
oh god, that was straight fucking trash. And it's not gonna work. So they'll never be able to, in my opinion, and if they prove me wrong, by all means, do it. But I don't think they'll ever get to a point of making enough successful and highly acclaimed anime live action films that they could do an Avengers type of deal with, like, crossovers and shit like that, because anime to live action just hasn't historically worked and doesn't seem to be the case. So what is anime's strong point? Like I said earlier, animation. Why not take the concept that they use for Jump Force as a video game and make blockbuster anime films of something similar to Jump Force with an actual good story? Because the story of Jump Force is fucking abysmal. It's like, what are you doing? It's whatever. That right there could be a golden ticket, and that's something that I would love to see, because we've seen, before people say there's been crossovers, I fucking know, but, like, you know, we've seen Goku, Luffy, and Toriko crossover. We've seen little instances like that. A full-blown, high-budgeted anime crossover film, similar to what, like, they made us believe, like, the story of Jump Force was going to be, with, like, Light being the main villain, and it looked like it was going to be great. If they made an actual anime film of that, do you understand the revenue, the marketing that they could do in the West? How huge it would be? Naruto, Goku, Luffy, Deku, Asta, all of that shit that they could do. I think what they should start doing is streamlining, making, which I don't think they really need to do with Dragon Ball Z, because Dragon Ball Z has had 100 million films, but getting these one-off, really dope anime films of like, a lot of these popular series, and then slowly start connecting them the same way they did with the live action Avengers
with Marvel,
Iron Man, all of that shit. Start connecting them and then make these blockbuster, humongous films that Japan will love them, the West will really fucking love them, and I think that is a very big gem, which if there's a Hollywood exec, or not Hollywood because they don't really have the power to do something like that right now, but anybody, here's a free bag of money. Do that. That will work. That is anime's strong point, is its medium, animation. Trying to go the Avengers route is never going to happen. Not that they've even showed an interest in attempting that, but they could replicate the same formula just sticking to their guns with animation. And I know in and of itself it's a complicated process because of the lawyers. Like, look at Who Framed Roger Rabbit. To get Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny together in a frame was like legendary. People were like, how did they get that legal nightmare to happen? So I get it. Like something like J-Star's Victory Versus and Jump Force, having all these multiple anime titles, having to get permission from, Toei, Studio Bones, all of this shit is like a mess. But if you can get it done,
yeah.
If they could get it done, though, the reward, the marketing, the promotion, all of that shit, it'd be huge. And I could see, Shonen Jump crossover film being absolutely humongous here in the West and competing and doing 100 mil at the box office if it's done right. Because you're taking, like, let's just say there's, again, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z. You're taking all the Dragon Ball fans, they're going to run to the theater to see that movie. The Bleach fans, they're running to see that movie. My Hero fans. That's how you get the collective of all these fandoms to come out, and that's how you can make a $500 million box office turnout, because you're getting all these fandoms to come together to support this film because they want to see their favorite characters kick some ass and show why they're the best, why their universe, why their manga is awesome. And all the power scaling junkies are going to be there power scaling the fuck out of this shit. It would be huge. And yeah, I know this was a bit of a kind of reverse of what Shintai's idea was, but I don't know. I've had this on my mind for a few days since little controversy I've had on Twitter, and I think it would be big. What are your thoughts on that whole idea?
I mean, I think it's a fun thing to think about, and I think it could be cool, but the reality is it's just never. I just don't think it would happen. Like, it's like you were saying before with like the, it was a nightmare just to have like Bugs Bunny and like Mickey Mouse on screen for like a frame. The legal nightmare that this would just be like insane. It just wouldn't happen. It would be cool, but nah, that's just it. It's just fun to think about. It's cool to be like, oh well, they could do this and that, and but at the end of the day, I don't think it's like, not that it's impossible, but it's just not. I don't think it's like probable.
If they did Jump Force, and also because as anime and manga continues to get more mainstream or whatever, I feel personally, and it's horrible to think about whatever, but I feel it's inevitable until a lot of these conglomerates of anime and manga eventually get bought up by like big corporations. And you're telling me like if Sony owns Shueisha at some given point, for example, and I'm just throwing out Sony, whatever, Disney sounds fucking terrible. Please, Disney, stay away from my anime and manga. But if one of those corporations,
it'll all be on Disney Plus.
Hey, but imagine a high quality, very well written, they pull up.
No, I just realized it wouldn't be on Disney Plus. If Disney owned like a bunch of anime, they would just create a new streaming service, call it Anime Plus.
Yeah, Disney made some shit there.
Danime Plus.
Danime Plus. Hey, I'd subscribe the fuck out of it if it's good, because not everything from Disney is like like Star Wars. What they did with Star Wars, like, well,
oh god, don't tell me about Star Wars. That last movie was fucking trash.
But they are seeing success with what is the name of that Disney Plus exclusive that they have? You know what I'm talking about? That it's a Star Wars live action that they have on Disney
Oh,
Plus.
you're talking about The Mandalorian.
The
No, The Mandalorian was fucking awesome.
So what I'm saying is Disney does have the capabilities to make some good shit when they actually give a fuck.
I mean, I don't think the last movie was shitty because they didn't care. It was just incompetent. Like that last movie felt like it was 3 separate films being smashed together. Like, it was exhausting to watch. It was shit just constantly happening, and you had like no chance to breathe. It was just like that was the whole movie, just like sprinting to the end. It was just like so much shit being shoved in your face at once. It was you know how people complain about shit that's too slow?
Right.
Like, this movie was way too fast. Like, insanely fast. Like, it was so fast that you couldn't process anything that was happening.
Would it have benefited if they would have made it how can I say this, 2-movie finale, like what Harry Potter did, breaking up the last book into 2 films?
I don't even know, because like so much of that film was incomprehensible, and like I guess there were like a few good ideas here and there, but like there was also a bunch of shit that I hated, and I hate that movie more than the prequels. Yeah, and I fucking hate the prequels. I think the prequels are fucking terrible. But that last Star Wars movie actually made me go like, you know what? Maybe I was too hard on the prequels, because Rise of Skywalker was fucking garbage. Holy shit.
From what I've seen, and I never really got into, like, I've seen the original trilogy. I never got into...
Original trilogy is classic.
Yeah, legendary. But the prequels, it seemed like it really wanted to just be very, very kid-friendly.
Sort of. Because like in the third one and in Revenge of the Sith, the best of the 3, like you have Anakin killing little kids.
But the first one, especially from everything I remember, the marketing was about Anakin, like, oh look, he's a wild little kid in the spaceship. Hoo-hoo!
Yeah, there was a bit of that.
And that shit was terrible. Like, there's no excusing that.
Bad.
It was like, holy fucking shit. Especially as an adult in retrospect and knowing what we're coming from the original trilogy that is, like, legendary.
No, yeah, but, like, the prequels are also very politically driven, which, that's not an inherently bad thing, but, like, it does conflict with this image of, like, especially from the first one, The Phantom Menace, where it was, like, trying to be a little more kid-friendly. Oh yeah, you know what kids love? Fucking politics. What?
Samuel L. Jackson, boy. I'm tired of these motherfucking...
I'm tired of these motherfucking Sith on my motherfucking Dantooine.
The funny thing is, if you look at that story of like the origin of Anakin Skywalker, they could have made like some of the best shit ever. Cause like, you know, seeing him, like, it's kind of like if Naruto, the original, was like, and I always bring everything to Naruto, I know, fuck me, I know, but like, imagine the story was really focused in on Sasuke's descent into being a villain, opposed to like him being like, you know, an afterthought of Naruto wanting to be Hokage and save him. Like, they could have really put some incredible storytelling and just make those movies great with seeing Anakin fall into the dark side. But instead, yeah, we got the prequels. And again, I'm not trying to say that, oh, the prequels are like, you know, I'm not trying to justify the new films. I haven't really gotten into them and shit like that. I'm just saying that prequels were fucking terrible.
The prequels are... Just watch the original trilogy. The prequels suck. The sequel movies are not that great. Just the original trilogy is where it's at.
Was Rogue
some of the
One?
Video games are cool. I thought Rogue One was alright. It's not anything great. But it's definitely better than the prequels, and it's definitely better than the sequels.
And then there was also the spin-off Origin movie that people hated as well.
Solo. I never
Yeah.
watched that one. I just like
Gave the fuck up.
caring. Yeah.
The video games are cool though.
Yeah.
I have one of them. I forget. I bought it like
Yeah.
2015.
Jedi Fallen Order is really good. There's also the older ones like Jedi Knight and Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy. Great games. Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Great fucking games. Really well written. You know, like cool shit. Good shit. That's all the Star Wars you need. Fuck everything else.
Maybe one day they'll do right by it. I doubt it though. Disney, yeah.
I don't know.
And
I don't trust it.
And it's wild.
So yeah, okay. So we have the original trilogy, The Mandalorian, and some good games. That's all. That's it.
And Rogue One, you said it was alright.
And Rogue One was all right. Not great, but it was all right.
You know, it's funny. I have Rogue One, and I mean, I have the original trilogy, Blu-rayed out, all that shit. And I even have the prequels on Blu-rays. And I have
Yikes.
Rogue One. It was a sale. Come on. It was Black Friday. Come on. And I have Rogue One on Blu-ray. I never saw Rogue One. I got it on Blu-ray though. And I got the first and I want to say even second films on Blu-ray of the latest trilogy or whatever. And I don't know.
I'll say that the first one, like Episode 7, Force Awakens, that one's okay. It's not. It's of the new films. It's the one that feels the most like the original trilogy.
And
So,
didn't they like?
but the thing is, if you watch it, then you're gonna be like, oh, but I want to see what happens next, and then it goes downhill.
Yeah, and like, 'cause I remember from the marketing and promotion that they did for that film, a lot of it was like, oh shit, Darth Vader's successor. Like they really pushed Kylo
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. They really, I was gonna say Kyle Rayner. Like, hey, it's the Green Lantern now. Kylo Ren, like they really pushed like this dude is taking control, man. Darth Vader is back, baby. And from everything I've seen and heard, ugh.
I actually liked Kylo Ren's character. I thought it was interesting. It was like the one consistently good thing across the movies. Well, even he got screwed over in the last one. Like that last movie was just easily the worst fucking one. Like, ugh.
And that's that, like, cause, well, I don't want to get into super spoilers. Maybe somebody gives a fuck or some shit, but yeah, I heard he was responsible for fucking up a legacy there. I don't know. Anyway, it's not his responsibility. It's the writers, and the writers obviously shit the bed. But
Yeah, I heard this one little tidbit, and I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense why the movie turned out the way it did. So, you know who fucking wrote The Rise of the Skywalker?
Who?
The same motherfucker that wrote Batman v Superman.
Oh my fucking gosh! And I saw that shit in theaters.
Martha! Why did you say that name?
Wow, makes a lot of sense. And there was like so many reshoots done for that film too, from what I heard.
I think it's time to wrap up.
Yeah, I don't even know how the fuck we're talking about, like how we got to Star Wars.
Look
But
at Star Wars and Batman v Superman.
yeah, people, this has been another episode of the ForneverWorld podcast, episode 13. If you got any commentary on anything we talked about, including our random discussion on Star Wars, drop me a fucking little comment, drop a comment, a like, and yeah,
Drop a like, mate.
we'll see you guys. Have an awesome day, people. Peace.